Alright, much Abrew about nothing time. Playing some Splendid Temur in Amonkhet Standard. This hand is reasonable-ish. Lumbering Falls for our opponent. Probably a Marvel deck. Well, we'll match their Lumbering Falls with our Lumbering Falls. Island. Oh. Really? It's the mirror? Okay. This hand not good for the mirror, I don't think. What are the chances? This is going to be very strange. So we will also contingency plan. Except we hit 0 lands and our opponent hit 3. Well, Mill World Breaker, Mill Crush, Mill Part the Water Veil, leave the other 2 on top. Pass the turn. Yeah, not too excited about where we're at. Because our opponent's probably going to get the first big mana being on the play. And they're better at hitting lands than we are with their contingency plan. We literally hit 0. Well, play Gaia Reach. Play Pieces of the Puzzle. We get 2 spells. Pass the turn. Opponent has Pieces of the Puzzle. Problem is we can't actually interact with what our opponent's doing. And they got the Splendid Reclamation. Do they have land 4? They do. So our opponent gets to Splendid Reclamation next turn. Ugh. Well, let's contingency plans. Mill. We'll keep Cathartic Reunion. Play Sheltered Thicket, pass the turn. Well, we'll see. I have no idea how this is going to end. So our opponent gets to reanimate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lands, which means if they have Part the Water Veils and stuff, we're just dead. So let's cycle Dissenter's Deliverance. Play an island. We will also Splendid Reclamation. So we both have a ton of mana. But our opponent got to go first, which means they got to reanimate first. Which means if they have a handful of Part the Water Veils, we just die here. There it is. Part the Water Veil. Yup. Opponent. Pieces of the Puzzle. Looking for Part the Water Veil. Hits a Part the Water Veil. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we're dead. Well, that's the downside of being on the draw, I guess, in the mirror. If we were on the play, it probably would have went the other direction. Opponent just gets to take an extra turn, attack with both Lumbering Falls, and kill us. I am so confused. They hit Part the Water Veil, right? But they're not going for it? Okay. Well, if they're not going for it, we will cycle Dissenter's Deliverance. They shouldn't have counters in the main deck. I'm in stunned. Unless this is in the wrong order. What cards did they put in their hand? Part the Water Veil. I don't understand what's happening. I don't know what to do because of that. I'm assuming their deck is 100% like ours. Which would mean, yeah, I mean, we gotta go for it. What does that mean, though? Take an extra turn. Yeah, I mean, Part the Water Veil. Awaken. Opponent Lightning Axes, discards a Cathartic Reunion. We'll tap it for mana. Cathartic Reunion, discard. Kozilek's Return. Sure. Play the land. Go to our extra turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, that's World Breaker. Get rid of the mountain. Not flashing back. Play Cinderglade. Pass the turn. Tap land for our opponent. Gets back World Breaker. Casts a World Breaker. Targets our Sanitarium. Well, we will sack Sanitarium, get back a World Breaker. Opponent's going to cash in their Kozilek's returns. And passes. We draw an island. Out of colored mana. Or colorless. Play a World Breaker. Kill a Lumbering Falls. Cast Kozilek's return, play an island, pass the turn. I feel like I sort of butchered this. We should have discarded Kozilek's return and kept a Lightning Axe, I think, earlier. Opponent awakens part the Waterveil. Pieces of the puzzle. Not great. Cathartic Reunion, discards a bunch of stuff. We could really use a colorless land. Well, opponent attacks, we block. They have their second of 2 Lightning Axes. They do. Well, get the rest of our lands. Still no colorless mana, though, which is probably going to be the death of us. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They can get back World Breaker. Well, I guess we have to Splendid Reclamation. Just to get back our colorless lands. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a land. So they can hit us with a bunch of stuff. Down to 3. It's not going to kill us this turn. But it might put us in a position where we're dead next turn. Opponent gets in. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Maybe this keeps us alive. 1, 2, 3. World Breaker. Sack a land. Cast World Breaker. Get rid of Lumbering Falls. And then Kozilek's return. Get rid of the Awoken land. Pass the turn. Man, are we getting out of this? I think we are. Even though I think we messed up earlier, I feel like we're still winning. Being on the draw and probably punting. Cycles. Because now we can get back another World Breaker, kill the last Lumbering Falls. I think maybe our opponent needed to be more aggressive with Lumbering Falls. Opponent's passing. Well, get back a World Breaker, sack a land. World Breaker. And we're just hitting Ether Hub. They can actually turn on the Lumbering Falls if they wanted to. And I don't think we're going to attack. The one way I could see us losing would be our opponent chaining together extra turn spells. And they shouldn't be able to do that if we leave back our World Breakers. Oh, they had one too. Well, good thing we did not attack. Ether Hub for our opponent. They haven't been very aggressive about getting back World Breakers. Crush. This shouldn't beat us though, because we have Lumbering Falls. Lumbering Falls. Block the mountain. And then we sack Lumbering Falls. Get back a World Breaker. Stay at 3. Opponent passes. World Breaker. Hit the land. World Breaker. Lumbering Falls. Oh my goodness. Alright. I think we got there. I think. Opponent plays a land. They can't even get back a world. They can't even cast World Breaker this turn. Yeah. I think this one's over. Jeez, I can't believe we're about to win this. Now let's contingency plans. Mill. Spells on top. Play Ether Hub. World Breaker. Hit the Sanitarium. Gets back a World Breaker. Splendid Reclamation. Get back all the lands we've been sacking. This deck is pretty sweet when it goes off. And then I think we'll get in with a World Breaker. Pass the turn. And I probably should have attacked with 2 there, actually. Yep. Yeah, I think we would have closed out the game a turn earlier if we attacked with 2. Opponent passes. Pieces of the puzzle. Nissa's Renewal and Lightning Axe. Do we have the win here? Attack, 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 attack. Yeah, I think so. Lumbering Falls. Lumbering Falls. Attack with everything. Good lord. Well, we got through the mirrors somehow, despite a bit of punting along the way. So I think we just bring in the gates, go down Lightning Axe, and probably the Dispels as well. Going down Crush and a Kozilek's return. Try it like that. Okay, we'll keep this. Short on enablers, but we do have the ability to cycle a Dissenter's Deliverance. Not good in this matchup, but we didn't really have other good sideboard cards, so I think it's fine. Opponent's got contingency plans. 3 lands. Well, play Sanctum, pass the... I mean, I'm assuming our opponent sideboarded similarly. Pieces of the puzzle. Oh, they brought in Rise from the Tides. Interesting. Left in Crush of Tentacles, X2. So we definitely did not sideboard the same way. Well, cycle Sheltered Thicket. Play Spire Bluff. Cycle Dissenter's Deliverance. And we're going to pass. We could contingency plans, but I think leaving up Negate for our opponent's Splendid Reclamation is more important. Opponent has contingency plans. Maybe they didn't bring in counters at all. Geez, they have definitely hit a lot of lands. No doubt about that. Well, play the island. Play contingency plans. Let's see. Mill. Leave on top. Opponent knows we brought in the counters now. Pass the turn. Opponent passes. We'll play the mountain. Pass the turn, I think. Would be nice to hit a land here. There's a land. And pass the turn. I think we keep waiting. If we get one more land, we can leave up 2 counters. And we're only getting back 3 lands. Opponent cycles. Huh. Opponent chose to cycle the land over hitting a land drop. Well, that's contingency plans. Mill. Draw the land first. Pass the turn. So next turn, we should be able to Splendid Reclamation if we so desire. To get back 1, 2, 3, 4 lands. Opponent's finding their land drops. Opponent has Rise from the Tides. We let that go. And then we just Kozilek's Return. Untap. Ether Hub. And not an insane Splendid Reclamation, but, I mean, reasonable. Pass the turn. Maybe our opponent really didn't bring in the counters. That was the first thing I wanted in this matchup. Part the Water Veil. Okay. I don't think we even care. That's not really doing anything. They just maybe make a land drop. Opponent has World Breaker. And, well, we might as well get back a World Breaker since we're going to lose our land. So play World Breaker. Hit the Ether Hub. Pass the turn. Still going to be aware of leaving up counters here. Because it undoes a lot of work if our opponent just gets all of their lands back. Tap land for our opponent. Sure. You can take an extra turn. So our opponent's down 2 Part the Water Veils too. And they exile, so they are gone forever. Another World Breaker. Hits our Ether Hub. Yep. And passes. Well, let's Awaken apart the Water Veil. Get an extra turn. Play Sheltered Thicket. Awaken on the same land, so it can attack through these World Breakers. Take an extra turn. I feel like we're in great shape here. Pieces of the puzzle gets us interesting. Let's go Cathartic Reunion. 1, 2. And pieces of the puzzle. And now we can, because we could still hit an extra turn spell. Cathartic Reunion. Discard World Breaker land. Alright, we did not. So play the island. I don't know if we want to attack. It lets our opponent 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I guess we do. Get in with the mountain. Our opponent can't get back and play a World Breaker in the same turn. They just need to have the third one in hand. So pass the turn, leave up our counters. There's a land. Contingency plan for our opponent. Setting up for the future. I don't think our opponent brought in counters. We get a Lumbering Falls. So let's World Breaker. Get the colorless source so they can't get back a World Breaker. Alright, opponent brought in Ceremonious Rejection, which is actually pretty fine. We still got rid of the colorless source. Then attack with our mountain. Opponent's got to start chumping, but they can't just get back the World Breaker, which was their best out. Get back World Breaker, and then they'd be able to kill our 12/12 mountain. Play Lumbering Falls, pass the turn. Going to keep up our counters, including our Umbrella Jace. Negate. Lava Umbrella. Opponent, Splendid Reclamation. Well, yeah, I don't think we want that to happen. That's too many lands. Opponent negates the negate. We dispel the negate. So they did bring in their counters. I don't know what they took out. What did they take out of their deck? Cathartic Reunions? Well, at this point, our opponent's tapped down so far. Even if they have another counter and resolve this, and we got the GGs. Yeah, even if it resolved, they were dead, because we attack with Lumbering Fall. So even if they negated back, for example, they would still be dead on board. And our opponent scoops it up. Sweet. Well, we took down the mirror, even on the draw. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, take a second and click that like button down below. It's a great way to help support the channel for free. And you can find the next video in the playlist right here.